Hey, this is Coach Sherry Atchison, and I'm here with a wonderful panel of amazing women and a very special guest tonight, Amy Bliss. And we're going to talk about another episode of Gifting Forward with Radiance, which means basically our way of saying pay it forward, but this way we're doing it because when you give into someone else's life, contribute your time, your money, your energy, whatever it is, you're shedding a very special light on someone else's life. And that's what this is all about. And we're very fortunate to have a guest speaker tonight. So to kick things off, I will introduce myself, Coach Sherry. I am a hypnotherapist, mindset coach, and I love to talk. So I have podcasts, but I love helping people out in any way that I can, as are my fellow panelists here. So I welcome each and every one of you, and I would like for each of you to give a introduction of what you do, who you are, and we'll pass it around. So Dr. Tammy, let's start with you.
Thank you so much for having us, Coach Sherry. I'm Dr. Tammy Fennick. I hold a PhD in criminology. I've taught criminology classes at the university, and now I am rolling out a new offer through my research consultancy where I am teaching university students how to succeed academically in university so that they can attain their goals and dreams. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you. Dr. Patrice.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, Sherry. It's my honor to be here with you guys. I am Dr. Patrice High, but I go affectionately by Dr. Patrice. And I am a board certified family medicine and lifestyle medicine physician who is in the process of pivoting my career from classic clinical medicine to more of a lifestyle medicine practice. I support women who suffer from chronic illness, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, obesity, early Alzheimer's, with using their body's inherent capacity for healing through teaching them lifestyle tools. So that's what I do.
Wonderful. We need you. Okay, Tabitha.
Hi, I'm Tabitha Moore. I'm a life and mindset coach, and currently I am creating a new program to help people manage their paycheck. A lot of people don't manage their money and they end up falling short. So why suffer? Why not learn how to manage it? So I'm going to help them do that.
Yeah, you're much needed too. I wish they would teach that information to us in school.
I know,
as
yeah.
well as
We
other
knew from
life
the beginning
lessons.
we wouldn't suffer so long, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And by the way, Amy, will each of you girls tell Amy where you live?
I'm in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, very cool.
I'm in Columbia, South Carolina.
I'm based in the Greater Vancouver area of British Columbia, Canada.
Yep. So we are international, and I'm in Butte, and Amy is in Butte.
I'm in Great Falls, actually.
You're in Great Falls.
Just north, yes.
Yay. Okay. Well, I was raised in Great Falls, and now I'm working down here in Butte. So good for you. Well, anyway, so tonight our special guest is Amy Bliss. Amy actually stopped into a place where I'm working and dropped off a pamphlet, and I saw what her cause was. And I really wanted to feature her. And immediately I'm just all over her like, hey, listen, can I contact you? Because this is such an important event. Also, because I was raised in Great Falls my entire, throughout school and everything, and a lot of my adult life, I'm very familiar with the torch run, and it's such an amazing cause. So I'm honored that you are joining us, Amy, and please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about why you're here tonight.
Absolutely. Well, first off, thanks for inviting me on and just allowing me to spread this mission even further. And I had no idea that we were international, which is really cool because this mission with the torch run is also an international mission. So my name's Amy Bliss, and I am our law enforcement torch run development director for Special Olympics Montana, based out of Great Falls in our home office. And I'm in charge of all things law enforcement torch runs. So in 1981, we actually just got done with our kickoff conference, but the origin story of the torch run started back in 1981, where a chief in Wichita, Kansas, got invited to carry what they call the Flame of Hope into the state summer games for Special Olympics. And so him and 5 of his officers, ran the torch into the state games. And, afterwards people were calling him asking, hey, what can we do? And so he said, well, give me money. So then the torch run turned into the largest grassroots fundraiser for Special Olympics Montana. And now over 94,000 officers, law enforcement, for all the way down at the local to the federal level, raise funds across the world. I think we're in like 40 countries, and we're approaching $1 billion raised to benefit the athletes of Special Olympics Montana or Special Olympics International. So it's a huge cause. Here locally in Montana, we are just approaching about $9 million since 1999. And so it's just a huge boost, not only providing resources for our athletes, but it also is a great partnership with law enforcement. And they benefit from, mental health and doing something positive in their careers. And, the partnership with our athletes is very special. So that's a little bit about what I do and, what the torch run is. And on a smaller level, I'm in charge of our fundraisers in the state of Montana that partner with the torch run. And so when I walked into the coffee shop that Coach Sherry was in and, was passing out a pamphlet and just, got to talk a little bit, we were actually raising money for our conference that was held this past weekend, which is getting ready to launch our torch run across the state of Montana. So that's a little bit about what I do and where we're at right now and in our series of fundraising. So it's a really exciting time.
Oh my goodness. That is so amazing. So, currently, Amy, are you beginning to launch a fundraising for the torch run?
Yep. So we are starting April 1st. I mean, pages are live right now if you go to our website, but by the middle of next week, we will have all 41 of our legs launched. And so what that consists of is officers start in all 4 corners of Montana, and we're not a small state. And they physically carry our Flame of Hope across the state, running anywhere, running, biking. Some people do horseback because we're in Montana. And so we run, bike, or ride horses for over 2,400 miles across our state highways and interstates. And so we have teams that carry this Flame of Hope across our state into our state summer games. So we will have officers running starting April 27th, and then they run almost every day until May 17th when our games kick off.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Dr. Timmy, do you have some questions for Amy?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, what a wonderful campaign that you're involved in, one of many. And I'm wondering what inspired you to get involved with respect to fundraising.
Yeah, so I am a former special education teacher, and so I taught for 5 years and then was looking just for a little bit of a career change, and kind of found my way into Special Olympics. And I've been passionate about people with disabilities and their access to our community, and really being just as part of our society as everybody else is, and finding those opportunities and those gaps. And so that's kind of what led me to Special Olympics from my prior career and just wanting that change. And I kind of landed in the torch run unexpectedly just because I just wanted to get my foot in the door. And as I spoke at this conference this weekend, it was the best surprise I could have expected last summer, because you can have a passion for people with disabilities, but when you see this partnership between law enforcement and our athletes, it is something just inspiring, and the way that they connect and bond with each other. And, it's a benefit for our athletes to have this partnership, but you ask every officer who's involved in our mission and it changes their lives more than they could describe. So that positivity is just something that will probably keep me in it for a long time.
That is absolutely fabulous. I warmly congratulate you and I wish you every success. Way to go.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. Dr. Patrice, do you have a question for Amy?
Yeah, so I second everything that Dr. Timmy said. I think it's amazing that you sort of fell upon your career. And I think that it's important for people to know exactly why you're so passionate about what you do. You talked to us about special ed and how your time as a teacher has certainly brought you to this point, but what is it that you love the most about your job currently?
Yeah, so my journey with people with disabilities started back when I was 12 years old at my middle school. I was intrigued by things that were different than myself. And so I always found myself in my free time volunteering in our special ed classroom at our middle school, which turned into a peer tutoring program that started after I left the school. And so from then on, I kind of just always had this itch that was where I was supposed to be. And so that paired with an experience I had in high school where I had an injury that forced me to be wheelchair bound for a little over 3.5 months. And kind of learning that experience, although it wasn't an intellectual disability, it was a physical disability that was temporary. And so I got to live and walk in those shoes for a little bit of time. Luckily, I recovered and have grown out of that. But that kind of just set me on this path of I always want to be connected with this population of people and, trying to make their lives better and providing the opportunities that I believe and feel they deserve. And so a lot of our communities, some are a bit more advanced than others, and a lot of our world has a long way to go with that. But that's kind of why I fell in and am still on this path. And I think that this world of the torch run, so I heard all of you guys are from, Canada and BC and in South Carolina and stuff, and the torch run's there, so I don't know if you guys have seen or heard about it in your local communities, but it's international. For sure. And I actually in November had a chance to interact with some people from Ontario who were at our international conference and stuff. So it's cool that this mission that's here, in Montana is across the world. And people that are doing things in small town Montana are doing things internationally. So it's a cool mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, congratulations on all you've accomplished and all you're going to accomplish. It sounds like it's certainly it's international, so there's lots of ways to be to pay it forward, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And so I can see how enormously rewarding that must be for you.
It is.
So thank you for what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Tabitha?
Amy, what kinds of things does the money go to?
Yeah,
What does it make possible?
that's a great question. So throughout the year we run, so our Torch Run campaign, as I mentioned, is getting ready to launch, but we also have 3 other major fundraisers, including our Tip-A-Cops, which our officers in Montana get to serve as celebrity servers at a local restaurant we partner with. And then we do polar plunges, which everyone knows what a polar plunge is. People jump in cold water for who knows why. I don't love to do that, but all of those fundraisers that we do for the Torch Run in Montana, every state kind of does it differently, but here in Montana, we do what we call a 60-40 split. So 60% of those funds stay locally with the athletes that they're raising money in that community. And so that allows them to, buy uniforms, if they have to rent practice facilities, if they, want to travel to our state competitions, it allows for that, lodging and food at state competitions. And so all of our athletes that participate in our programming for our Special Olympics games are free of charge to them. So the teams do 100% of the fundraising, but none of the families have to pay money out of their own pocket unless, they're supporting our fundraiser. But we don't ask, our athletes to pay money to participate. And so that's where our money goes. And then that other 40% comes back to us at the state office to help we are a business, so you have those overhead costs, and then it also does the supports the statewide competitions, and so we have that. Rest of the 40% comes there, but in Montana, 100% of our money stays there when we do fundraising through the torch runs. So, and same for our other fundraising that our local teams do.
That's pretty awesome to basically give people the opportunity, because some people without the funding, they would miss out totally. So that's pretty awesome to be able to provide that for the athletes.
It definitely
awesome.
is. Yeah. When you get to experience a competition, we just post COVID, which did a lot of things, and shut all of our programming down. So we just held our first big games back in November again, and had, I think, like 700 athletes compete in our 3-day basketball tournament. And the energy when they all come together to compete, and at Special Olympics, one of our values is providing true competition, and so we provide atmospheres where they truly get to compete for those medals that they earn. And so it's vibrant, you can't experience it without walking away with a smile on your face. And so, but that's what our money does for our athletes. Every dollar we raise goes back to supporting something for them to compete in, whether it's access or travel or, equipment and all of that. So.
Yeah.
Do you have
Oh, go
a
ahead.
favorite moment you've experienced at one of the competitions that you could share with us?
That's a great one. I get to experience a lot. I've been to our competitions, but a lot of what I experience with our athletes is at fundraisers. And so although I partner with our law enforcement, our athletes are at every one of our events too. And so, I love seeing the relationship, for example, when they both are serving as guest servers, at restaurants and stuff, and our athletes go up and greet the customers and, take their drink orders, and then they go back with the officers and they bring them out together. And this past weekend, it was pretty incredible. We had a conference for 190 people, actually down near Butte, where Coach Sherry lives. And we had 7 of our athletes, speak for 5 to 7 minutes in front of our crowd. And, that opportunity to empower them and their voices to share their story and, really inspire people for our own mission. We're doing this work for them, and then they're the leaders of our organization. And so that's was probably one of my favorite moments so far, is just, watching these individuals with intellectual disabilities be true leaders and, empower themselves to lead their own mission and, advocate for that. So this past weekend was pretty special.
Thank you.
So amazing. I have to say, I really appreciate what this torch run is all about, and the fact that you're a part of this amazing movement, because I think so many times in life, especially when we were younger, if we ever ran across somebody with a disability, which still rings true today, they always seem to be looked at and treated different, and that they're not really acknowledged for all the capabilities that they truly do have.
Mm-hmm.
And God love you guys for all of this, so that they can shine just as bright in their own way, their own right. And the feeling that it must give each and every one of these athletes to go out there and really feel a true competition, to where they have to put forth their effort and celebrate their success or suffer the defeat of it, but living the best life they can, and having all of these wonderful police officers embrace this entire mission. I just applaud all of you. I just cannot say enough of a thank you for doing this, because this is so important, and I love what you guys are doing and how you're helping all these people.
Well, thank you. it is pretty moving, and you have to remind yourself every day, you know, even when you get stressed about the little things, that you refocus yourself about why we're here and what we're doing, and like you said, who we're serving. And for me, I get the opportunity to serve our athletes, but also, you know, to serve our law enforcement, and provide these opportunities for them. And just, it's a different light. You know, there's so much negativity on their profession a lot of the times, day in and day out, and they don't have glamorous jobs. You know, 95% of the time their job is not glamorous. And so when you get to provide them the opportunity to have positivity, and that life-changing experience for them too, it's pretty cool to serve both communities. So
Well, that is wonderful. So, Amy, can you please tell everyone who's watching and listening the best way to get in touch with you? And then we will also post that information in the comment section or the description section as well.
absolutely. So the easiest way to get a hold of me is via email. My email is abliss@somt.org. You can also visit our website, which is just www.somt.org. Everything related to the torch run is going to be under our LETR tab up there, but you can also explore around our website and read our news stories and see what things are happening out here in Montana. Look at our upcoming sports dates and things like that. But those would be the two best places to find information related to, you know, what we do out here for the torch run in Montana, and then to get a hold of me. And if you want to be a leg runner, you know, you're more than welcome. It's just we require $100 minimum for fundraising, and you get to run along with our officers and our athletes. And so that's a little bit more about that, but feel free to reach out if you want to learn more about how to get involved across our state. And as I said, there's things happening all across the world related to this movement. So if you don't find it here in Montana, you can look up Special Olympics, you know, Ontario, Special Olympics, South Carolina, and there's all stuff going on related to what I spoke about today. So get involved in your local community, and you won't be sad. You'll walk away with great joy and a heart filled, you know, with the opportunities that are provided through this experience and working with this population of people. So.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Do any of you have any other questions or comments for Amy? To me?
A donation, can it be done through the website?
Yeah, so if you're wanting to donate to our specific campaigns, I would recommend going through the Torch Run page and finding the campaign page for our fundraiser, which is housed on a website called Classy. So that's the best way to donate to this cause and the specific fundraisers that we put on annually. That's a great question. You can also always mail donations to our state office, and that information can be found on our website.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Amy, I think if you type all that information into the comment section, then each and every one of us can copy that so that we can share it along with when we post this video as well.
That
That
sounds
would
good.
be
Do you want me to put it in the meeting chat
in
here?
Yes, please. Yeah.
I can do
And
that.
while she's doing that, Dr. Patrice, do you have any final words to say to our guest?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for what you do. And I actually had a question. You said that the torch run goes on sort of all over the state, or sorry, all over the country and internationally. So do they run at the same time? For instance, the torch run's about to start there in Montana, but what about the one in South Carolina? Do they kind of run along the same order, or is it kind of sporadic?
It is kind of sporadic. Every state takes their own spin on it. For example, in Michigan, they do a week in September. They call it the Flame of Hope Week. So they run their torch across their state in September. A lot of the states are going to be running their torches right around the middle of May, beginning of June, which leads into state summer games for most states. And so I would just recommend, you know, looking up on the torch run on your local Special Olympics website to find the dates. I know most of them run, May to June because that's what the timeline goes with our state summer games in most states. So that's typically what it is. But the cool thing about the torch run too is it has this umbrella idea of the partnership between our athletes and officers, but every state, has a different set of fundraisers they do. And, we tell our officers anything can be a fundraiser in a torch run event if you're leading it and partnering with Special Olympics and our athletes. And so that's the cool part about it is it's not, a square box. It's the possibilities are endless and everyone kind of takes their own spin on it. So
Very good. Thank you for the clarification.
absolutely.
Tabitha, any final thoughts?
That's pretty awesome that you can have it under the label and do it differently, right? Everybody's an individual, and to be able to do it differently is going to attract new people to have it open like that. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing this with us. I can remember in high school, we had a Special Olympic event. I can't remember. That was quite a while ago, but it was pretty awesome to see the athletes perform. It kind of just to watch them do their thing and perform, and the amount of energy and excitement, and whether they won or lost, I found it overwhelming. Like, it brought me to tears. It's pretty awesome to see the energy and the like love, like they're so happy it's hard to explain. It's so awesome just to see the difference it makes for them.
Yeah. Have you seen or heard about the new movie called Champions?
No.
Okay. If you haven't heard or watched it, there's a new movie with some of our athletes are actors and actresses in the movie, and it's called Champions. It's in theaters right now, but they partnered with some of our athletes to tell the story of a gentleman who was arrested, and then his sentencing was community service hours, and he got partnered up with being a Special Olympics coach. And anyways, I won't spoil the movie, but I highly recommend watching that as well. And you'll see that theme that you were just talking about, Tabitha, throughout the movie is, it's not about winning or losing, but it's, as our oath says, it says, let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in my attempt. And so that's, what we strive ourselves and pride ourselves in is it doesn't matter if you win or lose, but if I'm brave in my attempt, then I'm doing my best. And so that movie, really embodies that, but our athletes live that every day too. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend Champions.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. I'm blown away. I love your theme.
Yeah.
That applies to all of us, right? Let me be brave in my attempts.
Mhm.
Wow, that's powerful. I see we were gifted not only with your story, what you're doing, Amy, but that's a special gift. I love your theme. That is
Yeah.
so awesome. Well, Amy, I would love to I know you're getting your information for us in that chat, but I would love so much if you and maybe an officer and an athlete would kindly come back right before the games kick off and be
Yep.
a guest. I think all of us, not me, I mean, all of us would love that as a panel. Do you think that might be something you would be able to do? Bring an officer and a guest, and maybe we could just take 30 minutes of your time and, right before the kickoff.
Yeah, I can, if I get a little bit of a heads up on the date and the timing, I can get that scheduled. On my executive committee, we actually have currently we have 5, but we just exited 2. But we have 3 athlete leaders who sit on our committee as well. And so we can get one of them to join us. And I can make that work. I just need a little bit of a heads up as far as timing and scheduling to see what can work with their schedules.
Yeah, absolutely. And why don't you just, if you would like to, just check your schedule, see what would be a good time frame.
Okay.
And we can coordinate that for sure, because we as a panel would love to invite you and your guests with you back to talk more about this, because we're also touched by what you're doing. And we want you to know that globally, internationally, the way we're sitting right now, that we support your cause and what you're doing. So we thank you so much. And we would be honored to have you back.
Sounds good. I
For
would love
sure.
that. So I
Yeah.
will be in touch.
Yeah. I would love that too. We're going to have to check that movie out too. That
It's a
sounds
good
amazing.
one.
So here we go. There's the information in the chat. And once we post this, you know, out there on social media, we'll put this information in there for you as
Okay.
well. That way, we're doing our part to help you pay it for or gift forward with Radiance. That's what we love to say. So,
That's great.
well, Amy, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And on behalf of my wonderful panel of women here, we truly enjoyed having you as our guest tonight. And thank you for touching our lives.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. And it was nice meeting all of you. And I'll be in touch and look forward to hopefully getting one of our athletes and officers to join us and share from their perspective, because I can only share what I experience, but they have far more stories too to share. So,
Oh, would love it. We would love that. Well, thank you. Blessings to you. And we will see you again very soon.
absolutely. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.